All right, I think we're live. Welcome everyone to another episode of Blogging for Freedom TV. Really excited about today's episode. We have a really special guest. We're going to get to introducing him in a minute. Before we do that, I just want to talk again about what Blogging for Freedom TV is all about. Our mission with this wonderful platform, blogging, is to introduce you to really what this platform can do in terms of first of all, taking that vision, that passion, whatever it is that you have and you want to share with the world, being able to reach a larger audience and create a ton of opportunity for yourself, both from an income standpoint and from the standpoint of being able to open new doors in your life and create other opportunities. Blogging is really powerful, and it's really something that absolutely everyone in the world should be doing. Because as far as I'm concerned, if you have something you're passionate about, if you have this unique value that you can share with the world, you should be using a platform to get it out there. And when we talk to our special guest, actually, he's gonna dive into some of his story and how he got started in blogging. It's a really, really remarkable story. Before we actually get to introducing Avram, I want to bring in Dave, who has a little bit of a story he wants to talk about as it relates to our special guest, and then we'll actually introduce that guest. So go ahead, Dave. Why don't you take it?
All right, thanks, Adam. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Blogging for Freedom TV. I'm one of your co-hosts, David Book, and I just want to say I'm glad to be here with you guys today, and I'm excited that you showed up and that you're checking out what we have to offer for you. Like Adam said, our goal here is really to give you guys a ton of value, because we believe as business people and entrepreneurs that the best way to really grow an audience and to build a following is to teach, to guide, and to mentor. And so that's what we want to do here, is we want to give you guys real good information from our own experiences and the experiences of other people in our circles that have had success with what we're doing as well. So that's one of the reasons that we have Avram Gonzales with us today. And just to kind of lead you guys into Avram and get to meet him, I want to tell you just a little bit of a story about how I got into the business and how I got going with blogging and doing internet business online. And really, without getting into crazy specifics, like I was in a place where I realized that I didn't want to work a job for the rest of my life. I'm not a big fan of authority. I'm not a big fan of people telling me, you go do this, go do that. If you don't have something to do, find something to do. I was tired of making money for somebody else, and so I started to look for a better way to make money, right? And I'm sure if you guys are like me, then you're looking for the same kind of thing. You're tired of being stuck in a 9-to-5, 40-hour-a-week job, tired of answering to the boss man all the time, and you want to do something different. Maybe you want to be inspired. Maybe you want to have a chance to really go out and take that action and to make a name for yourself, to make an income for yourself, and to be able to live your dreams. And so that's what I did. I just made a decision that I was tired of doing the same stupid stuff every day, tired of going to the same dumb job that I hated, and I was tired of being, depressed and unhappy. I wanted to get that fervor and that passion back into my life, because that's where I feel the most happy. And I know you guys feel the same way too. If you can go out and live your dreams and do the things that you want to do, like, life just changes for you. Doors open up, opportunities come towards you. You get to meet new people, expand your circles and your influence, and that's just a really powerful thing. And the reason I tell you the story is because when I first started blogging, that was maybe 6 months after, I started getting hooked up with different circles of people in the blogging community, and I found this guy named Avram. Right? He started out his blogging career, to my knowledge, with a movement that he called Inspiration. And the basis of it was, and I'll let him tell more of the story, but he wanted to do something new every day. He wanted to try new things, go out and do new stuff, just like we were just talking about, And he started documenting it. He was writing blog posts and doing videos on the different things that he would do every day. And the thing that caught my eye is he did a video about his hike up Pikes Peak with himself and some of his friends. And I watched that video and I read the post, And it really resonated with me because I'm a Colorado boy too, and I actually live like 10 minutes away from Pikes Peak from where he was filming that video. So it really just caught my attention, and it really showed me that someone out there who's similar to me, who I can resonate with, can be successful in an online business. And so that really gave me a big push to say, you know what, I can do this stuff. You know, if Avram can do it, you know, scruffy long-haired dude just like me, like, then we can get it done, right? So that's what really kind of motivated me to get going. And Avram doesn't even know that, but he's been one of my big motivators. I've been kind of a little Facebook stalker for a little while. So, but so that's just a story about how I came to find Avram and how, you know, the experiences of my life and his life kind of merged and gave me the oomph I needed to get going. So, following the format that we want to do today, what we want to do is introduce Avram, and we want to ask him a couple questions because we want to get you guys some valuable information that you can use to make a decision on whether or not you're going to take the plunge and start an online blogging business, or maybe if you're already in a business, some insights and some information to help you do your business better. So without further ado, I'm just going to let Avram jump in here and tell a little bit about himself and his story. So Avram, thank you very much for coming, man. Just real quick, guys, Avram is a huge blogger. He's got a lot of influence, and he's got a big following, and he does earn a decent amount of money. Results not typical, right? So Avram, go ahead, man. I'll just let you take the floor.
Oh, good. Appreciate you, David. I didn't know you'd seen the Pikes Peak video. That's pretty awesome. But you know, like that's the power of like blogging too, because I put that video up, and I think it's got a couple thousand views on it now. And every time somebody searches for hiking Pikes Peak, you know, they see my video. And you might wonder, like, what does that have to do with business and stuff? Well, maybe it doesn't, but maybe it does, right? All the content and stuff that I put out on the internet over the last few years may or may not have anything to do with business, but it has everything to do with me and what I came here to this planet to share with people. You know what I mean? And so all roads lead back to me when it comes to the content and stuff that I put out there. And so, you know, traditionally, nobody's going to buy everything from you. Not everybody's going to want to do business with you. But you put your heart out there, you share the experiences that you're having, and sure enough, some of those people are going to be interested in what you have to offer. And that's kind of like the beauty that blogging really is. You know what I mean? By the way, I had this question for you, Adam. I know you and Kristen are kind of romping around the world right now, you know, and blogging and internet marketing is a big part of you guys being able to do that. Have you been to South America yet?
No, we've been to just Central America.
Okay.
Oh, actually, I shouldn't say that. We were in Peru with family. I almost didn't even count that because that wasn't that really wasn't our doing. Our family was like, we want to do this stuff with you. So Kristen's sister actually, you know, made this decision. She was going to Peru, and she was bringing the family, including our two nieces. And that's one other thing that's made this so cool is, you know, when you have this sort of a business and you're this mobile and flexible, you know, we were able to say, hey, yeah, at that point, we're actually in Europe. We're like, hell yeah, we're going to do this. The whole family's going. We're going to go too. And so, yeah, we actually did do Peru. We got... we did Machu Picchu. We actually climbed Huayna Picchu, which is like a peak that's right by Machu Picchu, and it was amazing.
Cool. Well, did you ever drink mate when you were down there? Yerba mate?
No, mate is we had like the coca tea. What's mate?
Mate, you know, I don't know what it's made from. Maybe it actually is made from like mate, you know, like yerba mate. I don't know, but it's loose leaf tea. Right, and like this is what a lot of people, when I went to visit Argentina, right, this is also something that I blogged about, and if you're watching right now, you might think we're just kind of like messing around right now, and we kind of are, but we're also going to be sharing some really cool stuff with you, just in the kind of stories and stuff that we share with you. I actually made a video, put it on YouTube about mate and about Argentina. It's one of the new things that I'd never done before that David was talking about. Right, in 2010, I did something brand new every single day that I'd never done before, and it wasn't just because I felt like it, and it wasn't just because I felt like learning how to blog. It was actually because in 2009 I finished up school, and I couldn't get an interview for the life of me, and when I did get one, I couldn't get a job. You know, I'd spent all my time going to school, being groomed for corporate America. It wasn't working out. I had to move back home with my parents, got dumped by my girlfriend at the time, had a really, really lousy summer at home, and was sort of like just searching for answers, wondering why things were so awful. I had a roof over my head. I was well fed. I had a job working at my dad's dry cleaner for like $10 an hour. But I felt like crap, and it was like first world problems, right? But when you feel bad about yourself, it doesn't matter like how good your situation is. It just feels like everything sucks. And one thing led to another, and I had some realizations where I realized that the reason that my life sucked so bad that summer and the few months after that was because I wasn't growing anymore. Right? I wasn't learning. I wasn't experiencing anything new. I was just doing the same thing every day. And a lot of people experience the same thing. They don't know why. Well, it's because, you're not doing anything new. This universe thrives on expansion. So when you don't go with the flow and continue expanding yourself, that's when things get a little bit weird, right? You have this things just aren't going according to plan, and whether you're stuck at $1,000 a month or $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month, hey, you know what? I've been stuck at $20,000 a month, and it sucks, right? Stuck is stuck is stuck. And that's what Inspiration was born out of, was the desire to go experience new things and then blog about it, right? So I wanted to learn how to do marketing on the internet, but nobody was teaching that in school back in 2010, right? And so I've just been hearing from people like content is king. You got to have content. You got to have a place to tell your story. You got to do videos. And I was like, well, I don't have anything to sell. I don't have a business. I don't know how I'm going to do this. But then it all came together over margaritas at Chili's happy hour one day with a buddy of mine. And I was like, holy shit, what if I went and got a video camera and I went and did something new every day, I recorded it, and then I put that on my blog. And yeah, I don't think I'm going to make any money, but at least I'll learn how to do this social media, blogging, online marketing thing. And that's how it was born, right? And that's how it was born, and that's what fueled the fire for me to do videos every single day and put my stuff out there. And just give people an idea of really what can happen when you blog. It's more than just making money, right? It's so much more, right? I met like my soul brother from another mother within like 2 weeks of putting my videos on the internet. It's a guy that I met on Facebook that I went on to go on a road trip to Sedona for 2 weeks that I'd never met in person before, and we just had a kick-ass time, right? That same journey led me to my first business partners. Forming businesses with people that you meet on Facebook that you've never done business with before, and launching products, right? I never had done that before. But that's also something that this project led me to. It led me to becoming a wedding videographer at one point, and then learning the skills that it takes to edit high-quality videos, right? By editing for Bridezillas and trying to get it right for somebody else, you learn how to get really good at getting it for yourself, right? That also led me to, my dream girl, right? My fiance and business partner, Nikki Magdalena, and she saw one of my kooky videos on the internet and connected with me there. And things went from there, right? It was like love at first click, and the same project led me to speaking on TEDx, right? Somebody in the Denver area saw my videos, recommended to the person who was running the TEDx event here in Denver, hey, you gotta get this guy on. And so me getting on TEDx was born, all from a blog, all from a simple decision to just kind of put myself out there. And I wasn't even doing it for money at the time, right? Now, taking the skills that I learned from doing it for fun, I've been able to translate that into earning a long-term sustainable income through blogging, right? Most people spend a lot of their time as entrepreneurs running around with their heads cut off day to day, getting stuck in the day-to-day minutia of their business that doesn't allow them to actually like grow their business. Whereas blogging, when you do it every day, what you do is you form this foundation that gets deeper and deeper and deeper and thicker and wider, right? Where at the end of a year or 2 years, you look back and you're like, holy crap, I'm making like 3K, 5K, 10K a month without even doing anything because my blogs and my content are working tirelessly for me around the clock, right? And that's really the gift that I want to pass on to anybody who's watching today, is that blogging can do so much more for you than just generating income. It can open up doorways. It can open up opportunities in your life, right? When you blog, you put a piece of yourself and your soul out there, right? And when you do that, you do one thing that most people are unwilling to do, and that's to be seen, Have either of you guys read the 10x Rule by Grant Cardone?
No, I haven't even.
Oh man,
What's it called? The 10x Rule?
The 10x Rule. This goes down in history as one of my top 10 most recommended personal development books ever. And in that book, among a lot of other cool stuff, Grant says that the biggest problem people have is obscurity. And obscurity just means that nobody knows that you even exist, right? And when it comes to you wanting to build a profitable business, when it comes to you wanting to have more rich and deep relationships and more opportunities come your way, you have to overcome obscurity. People have to know that you exist, right? There is no way that anybody can ever give you money if you don't give them a way to give you money, right? Period.
Yeah.
So, and money is just energy, right? And energy comes in all forms, right? Like I can give you guys a hug next time I see you. That's an exchange of energy, right? I do what I do for hugs, for money, right? For hugs, for money, for contribution, for fame, for notoriety, for all sorts of stuff, right? It's an exchange. So even if somebody doesn't give me money for me putting a video on the internet, it helps me break through obscurity. And it can help you do the same thing, so more people can find out and get to know more about you. So I know that you guys have some questions. I think we should dive into some questions. I could get carried away and stuff, but
Avram, what you just said though, what you just said about that overcoming obscurity, it hits home for me so much because I actually know that I have a couple people watching this right now who are artists. And I've always personally wanted to, I actually am not much of an artist myself, but I have had a lot of friends. I love art, I love music, and they've, you know, you hear obviously about the whole, you know, everyone, it's that, is it a stigma or a stereotype of the broke musician or the struggling musician?
Artist.
And I always think about musicians, in particularly in artists. You know, I have these friends who have these paintings, for example, or mosaics. We have a friend who does this brilliant glass mosaic art, and all of her mosaics are in her basement or in a closet.
Yep.
And I'm like, the art of marketing is taking that mosaic and getting it into a coffee shop, right? But what blogging does is enables you to add these amplifiers to it, and I just think about the potential that our platform and what that blogging has for people. That's actually something I just loved it. But and then Dave has a bunch of questions too, but I wanted to hear you comment on just how, you know, you feel like, especially in those niches, like the art niche, where we see so many people struggling, not knowing what to do, and battling that whole issue of obscurity. You know, what can they do?
I love that question.
And how can a blog help?
I love that question, Adam, because it actually touches on like what my main mission has been evolving into over the last few years, which is really like, here's the deal. There are millions upon millions and millions of people on the planet who have an incredible gift inside of them. And maybe it's their art, maybe it's their message, maybe it's the service that they've created or the products that they've created that can really change the world. And it's those people that most desperately need to be seen, to be heard, to be experienced, right? And so one of my personal missions is taking the coaches, the change agents, the healers, the artists, the people with the message inside, and helping them build the bridges so that they can reach the world, so that they can reach the people that most desperately need their gifts, right? And I see it all the time too. It's just there's so many beautiful, amazing people that don't know, either they don't know that they need to be more out there, or they're like too scared to do it, right? And it's my mission to help people overcome both of those things, right? How to do it and how to overcome the stuff that comes up by putting yourself out there, because it's a vulnerable position, right? Taking your piece of art and putting it up in a studio or in a coffee shop or whatever for it to be judged, criticized, and seen. It's a vulnerable place to be. So for you and your work to be experienced like that, I know what that's like. I put videos up every day. You wonder in the back of your head, what are people going to think? But the reason that you do it is because there is like that one person that you know it's going to impact, and that's why you do what you do as an artist, right? You do it for you, right? And you do it for the person that you know it's going to impact their life. And guess what? If you're not impacting them, you're not reaching them, that's a really selfish place to be, right? For you to not devote your life and your energy to sharing your greatest works with the people that deserve to see it most, it's selfish, right? You're keeping it to yourself, right? You're not allowing other people to experience the gift that you are. It's your duty to bring that to people.
Absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
I just love that. Dave, why don't you, I know you have some questions for Avram, so I want to give you a chance to ask a couple of them now.
Okay, well, he's already actually answered a couple of them.
Nice.
Just by telling the story, which is cool. But the first question I got for you, Avram, is can you name a person who has had a tremendous impact on yourself and your blogging business, your blogging career? Maybe someone who's been a mentor to you, and how and why did that person impact your life?
So I'll give you two, because there's one that you can go utilize right now, and then there's one that you can use in some way, but I have special access to. So I'll give you the first one. First one, biggest person that impacted my life in terms of blogging and getting my message out into the world is Gary Vaynerchuk. Right? He's the author of Crush It. I picked up Crush It for the first time in 2009, and it blew my mind. It's part of the main reason that I got started blogging in the first place, right? And it's Gary Vaynerchuk. And since then, he's written several other books. He's like the godfather of social media marketing and content creation. I just love him. I love his stuff. His story is really cool too. You can go do your research on him. So Gary's one of those people. Second person though is sort of like direct and indirect at the same time, right? It's my fiance Nikki, right? So she's been a huge impact on me overcoming that stuff that we talked about earlier. You know, being that person with a message that's trapped inside, finding the courage to step out and explore what it takes to bring your message to the world. That's what Nikki's been a huge gift for me on, is helping facilitate me through some of that stuff that needed to happen in order for me to experience my transformation. Because everything starts with the energy, right? Everything starts inside, and if you don't work on what's here and what's here, it's really hard to create what you would like to see out here, right? So those are my two people.
Awesome, man. So Gary Vaynerchuk and Nikki. That's Gary has been one of my online mentors as well. I remember watching some of his episodes of Wine Library TV, and that guy, man, just the way that he can put himself on camera and just be totally real with people. I think that's what really attracts me to him the most. You know, he's always saying, "I'm gonna go buy the Jets," and he's talking smack about people. Which is,
well, that's what attracts everybody, right? And that's Gary to his core, right? Most people are afraid to expose that core, right? He gets criticized for the way that he is all the time. All the time. People say, "Gary, if you weren't this way and you didn't curse so much and you were blah, 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 I would recommend your show to all my friends." And he's like, "I don't care. This is me. I don't need you. Find somebody else. Take it or leave it," right? His attitude isn't the only way to be, but that's the only way that he can be, right? That's him. If you want to make an impact in this world, you have to be you. Period. Whether you're blogging, or you're doing healing work with somebody, or you're painting portraits, you got to be you. You got to be the greatest expression. You can't copy somebody else if you want to make it happen. If anything, Gary's given me permission to be more outrageous. Everybody has a little bit of outrageous in them. It's time to let it out.
Get outrageous, everybody.
And blog about it.
Exactly.
There you go. So that actually almost answers the next question I have too, which is going to be, what's the one characteristic that you believe every blogger should possess? And maybe that's just get real. Be a real person. Do you have anything to say about that?
That, and then tie it to what people are actually wanting to learn about, hear about, read about, watch. Right? One of the biggest mistakes I see people make when it comes to blogging, or really, just fundamentally in business, is your product, your service, your message. It has to be custom tailored to the people that you want to reach, right? It's like, I don't know, if I had a friend that did a blog about football and he wants me to read it, it's just never going to happen, right? I do not like football. But what he could do to get me to read his blog is, if he knew a little bit about me and how into transformation and personal development I am, he could take he could take an interview that he did with or found about Ricky Williams, right, and found out here's six things that Ricky Williams learned, you know, on his yoga adventures, because Ricky Williams went and did all sorts of crazy stuff, right? Here's 6 things that he learned that every entrepreneur should apply to their business, right? Still about football players, but he took a concept and related it to somebody like me who could give 2 shits about football and made it interesting, right? So yes, be yourself, and you know, you have to take you and make it about the other person who's reading it. Otherwise, nobody cares, right? You have to. Everybody's always wondering, like, what's in it for me? Nobody's going to even click on your blog post if they don't think they're going to get something out of it, right? People are only going to visit your blog. They're only going to buy from you if they think that they can get something out of it, right? Education, entertainment, inspiration, right? If you're blogging, every blog post you do should serve something, one of those 3 things up, every time, right? Every time. Otherwise, nobody has a reason to read it, right? There's 2 other ones that go along with those that are less popular, but you know, work really well for like an email list. You know, people that like want more information that they do want to buy from you. What are those 2 other things? Information, right? And then promotion, right? Because if you don't ask for the sale or you don't tell somebody to buy or whatever, like they're not going to do it. You know, they're less likely to do it. So inspiration, education, entertainment, information, and promotion. Every blog post that you write should have at least one of those elements in it, if not multiples. Otherwise, that's not interesting. Nobody cares. Okay? You have to always make it relevant about other people, and that's the #1 thing I think is important about blogging.
Awesome, man. Thank you for answering that.
Yeah.
And it looks like Adam's got his hat backwards.
Yeah, I turned my hat backwards.
There.
I just thought of something, and you know, it goes back to when I saw, you know, when I became aware of what you had done with Inspiraction, and I think about that. So much of what you did there seemed to be so organic, like just turning the camera on and capturing a moment that was entertaining or whatever. And I'd like to get your take on, you know, because I think almost the opposite of that. Like when you're in the flow and you're doing things that are fun and you're capturing it, that's really fun and sort of organic. But then there's this discipline that I think we all, you know, people, you know, being in this business, you struggle with on a day-to-day basis. Like, am I doing the right things? You know, actually building a business can be stressful. So you make it seem very natural the way you built your business and organic and fun. But I know there's some discipline involved too. So how have you managed to, like, you know how much of each is needed? You know, like between the discipline and just capturing the moments in your life that you know will inspire people.
Yeah. Well, it's like I don't know where this quote came from, but I think it's a beautiful one, and I'm gonna butcher it, but it's something along the lines of like millionaires become millionaires because they take 2 or 3 things that they're already doing and learn how to make money doing them. So say it again. Millionaires become millionaires because they take 2 or 3 things that they're already doing and find out how to make money with them. So blogging is actually the perfect marriage to take whatever you're doing and turn it into money. So it doesn't matter whether you're gardening. What's that, David?
So you can turn it into money or hugs.
Both, right? Yeah, exactly. Money or hugs, and both. Sometimes it's my dream. It's my dream. People will pay me for hugs. No, actually, really funny thing is when I worked at my dad's dry cleaner, I was working $10 an hour, and I was there. I was doing the customer service, so I wasn't actually, thank God, in the back like pressing the shirts and stuff. It gets hot. It's muggy back there. You know, it's crazy. So anyway. When my hair is looking better, you can see it next time. I'm wearing a beanie today because it's pretty outrageous. But I have really good looking hair, and I'll just say it, right? And so women love my hair, especially old women. So I'm at the dry cleaner, and I constantly get requests from like these old women. Like, well, not requests, right? But they would say like, your hair is so gorgeous, right? And I remember messing around one time, and this one lady, she'd always come and say the same thing. I was like, do you want to touch it? Right? And so she's like, yeah, I do want to touch. So she touched it, and it was like this moment, you know, it was pretty hilarious. So I followed that up a few weeks later, and I put a jar out, right? And Whenever somebody said, I love your hair, I would direct them to the jar and say, well, if you give me $1, you can touch my hair. You can, do whatever you want, touch my hair. So, I made a couple extra bucks on the side. People want to touch my hair, right? But I took something that people were already wanting, and I gave them a reason to buy it. Same thing is true with whatever you're passionate about and you love talking about. There's a way to transform that into an income for you. So I think people are probably looking for like those examples. And one thing I will say as a side note, Adam, that kind of answers your question is when you're doing stuff that you love talking about, that you love doing, it's really easy to create content around that. Okay? So what you want to do is you want to create content around that because there's other people that are just like you that want to know more about it, right? It's a whole different subject to go find those people and promote it to them and let them know that your blog exists, right? You got to get past the obscurity. If they don't know it exists, they can never benefit from your blog post, right? But then it all becomes the bridge in how you create money. So let me give you an example. Back when I did my Inspiraction thing and I was just doing these videos for fun, I had nothing I could sell that people would want to buy that had something to do with what I was doing, which was doing, interesting videos every day of something new that I was doing, right? Like, what do you sell that person, right? Now, looking back on it, the only thing that I think I could have possibly offered that would have made a ton of sense is offering coaching and possibly like some sort of like live events, right? People wanting to know more about how I became so fearless in doing activities that would scare the piss out of some people, and because that wasn't me before I started that whole journey, right? People wanting to tap into that energy that I was conveying on video and that gift that I was being on video. People would want to pay coach. I know if I went back in and I did that again, people would want to pay me for coaching, right? So that's how you monetize that. But it's a stretch, right? It's a stretch. Like when you've never done coaching and stuff before, how do you do it? Another example, okay? Gardening. I have this friend, her name is Shauna, and I've only met her in person like one time, but I think she lives in Chicago now? Anyway, one of the biggest gardening blogs on the planet. Shauna creates amazing content, and she also has to work her ass off to make money because she has to make her own products. She has to recommend other people's products. Here's what you should use for your garden, right? So she can make her own info products about how to garden and when to plant your tulips and I don't know, whatever else, right? Her own ebooks, things like that. She can promote other people's stuff, and then I don't think she does it, but she could offer like coaching and all that. How do you set that up as a newbie? That is really difficult, right? And that's the struggle that I ran into in 2010. Now, if I had what we have now in 2010, I'd be a fucking millionaire right now, okay? Because of what I said earlier, right? Millionaires find ways to take two or three things that they're already doing and find a way to make money doing it, okay? Here's what we have now. Literally, now I can tell somebody, do you have something that you love to blog? Do you have something that you're passionate about? Yes or no? Okay, yeah, I have something that I love talking about. Okay. Would you love to make money talking about it constantly? Answer is always, hell yes. Okay, click the button below, right? There's actually a button below this video. You can click it now, and you can get your own blog set up for you in the next, I think, probably 15 seconds, however long it takes you to type. You might be a chicken pecker. I don't know if you are or not, whatever, right? Or you might be able to use all 5 fingers. I don't know. However long it takes you, by the time you finish filling out the form, pulling out your credit card, entering the information in there, you can have a blog up and running for a couple bucks, not have to know anything about tech stuff, and you can start blogging today about what you love doing, and guess what? You do not have to do the stuff that myself and my friend Shauna had to do if we wanted to make money on a blog back in the day, right? Now, you can blog. We can teach you all the stuff you need to know about it and how to become better at doing it, et cetera, et cetera. And the blogs are optimized to make you money and do sales for you without you having to even touch it. You don't even have to be a salesperson, and it happens for you, right? And guess what you can tell people, right? Guess what you can tell people? You're like Adam and Kristen, and you're traveling the world. They're like, Adam, how do you do it? And he's like, well, I just, blog about my travels and post pictures on Instagram and stuff, and I get paid to blog about what I'm passionate about, which is travel. And they're like, and then he goes, what do you like doing? They're like, I like crocheting. And then Adam's like, okay, what if I told you there was a way that you could crochet all day long, share about it, teach people how you do it, talk about it religiously, and then get paid for it? Would that be something that interests you? Who would not say yes, right? That's the cool part. You don't have to teach anybody anymore. I don't have to teach anybody anymore how to like set up your own products and do all your own stuff. You can click the button below, get your own blog set up. All the sales and stuff happens for you. All you got to do is focus, right? Click the button below, focus, blog about what you love to do, because when you talk about stuff you love to do, it's easy to do it, right? It's easy to do it. It's not hard, right? So this is the long version of how I was answering Adam's question, which is, does it take some discipline? Yeah. But I guarantee you there's things that you do every day religiously that don't get you paid, right? For me, I gotta figure this out quick. I gotta figure this out quick, right? I gotta figure out how to get paid to play my Clash of Clans game on iPhone, okay? Because I probably spend anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour a day playing that game. Maybe even more, and I'm just lying to myself, okay? Now I could blog about it, right? I could blog about it. I could blog about it. But I do have other things that I prefer to blog more about. You know what I'm saying? But you know, if it was me back in the day when I loved playing StarCraft and World of Warcraft and all these video games, dude, I would have been hitting it hardcore, blogging about video games, posting replays, talking strategy, blah blah blah, all that stuff, and making a killing doing it. That's my spiel for now. Ask me another question. I gotta grab a cord here. I'm out of juice.
I actually wanted to add one thing to add context to what Avram's saying there, because it's like a light bulb thing. You know, you talk about what the blog gives you an opportunity to do in terms of building an audience, and you think about these billion-dollar industries that are, you know, where people waste their time, like reality TV, for example. Reality TV is this massive billion-dollar industry, and you have people, and it's crap, right? Like, for the most part it is. Some of it's entertaining, but mostly people, you know, sit on their couches, and it's like an outlet maybe of some kind because they work all day and they're stressed out, but they're watching this television show that's not serving them at all, but it is this billion-dollar industry. And really, if you want to think of your blog in a certain way, think of a blog as like your opportunity to build an audience around the things that you're actually passionate about. You know, so as opposed to spending 2 hours on a couch watching some garbage that's not going to serve you at all, you can focus all your energy on what you're passionate about, capture those moments and publish them to a blog, share it in a way that's actually entertainment, informational, educational, grow an audience and grow a business. That's really fundamentally what it is. It allows you to almost create like your own television show, your own network. And when I think about this and how easy it is, because another thing I remember when I first got started in this business was, you know, when people would talk about, when you get started with your business, you should be thinking about like the commercial viability of the niche you choose. But I think we're at a place, and with where blogging is now, that it doesn't really matter what you're passionate about. If you're super passionate about it, there's a really, really good chance that there's a lot of other people around the world that share that passion. And the blog really enables you to connect with those people and start to attract those people. And once you have an audience, that's really the foundation for the business. Once you have people coming and consuming it's like your own show, right? It's like your own platform. Then you've really established a foundation for a business. And as Avram was saying, this platform that we have makes it easy. You focus on creating the content. It attracts the people that share the passions you have, and then they click through some banners or a button, much like the one that's underneath this video that you can click right now. They get started, and then you earn a commission. It's really that simple. So it's like your own platform, and it's just amazing.
It really is. It really is like kind of like revolutionary, you know. So I know that we have like a few more questions, and then I know that I think you guys are like, yeah, we do it like 30 minutes. So usually, but we're having fun. It's cool. It's cool. Are there any questions?
Yeah, Dave, do you have any other questions?
Not that haven't already been answered, but I did want to say one thing that came up when you guys were talking about telling stories. And then the TV shows, right? The reality TV shows. My parents watched The Voice like religiously every week. They never miss an episode, and I've been trying to kind of figure out like why they gravitate toward that show so much, and why people around the world, around the country, gravitate to those kind of shows. And I figured it out. It's because in those shows, they're telling stories about those particular people, and they're letting the audience into their lives to find out who they are, what their passions are, what they've done in the past, their dreams for the future. And they get really attached to those stories. My mom could tell you all the stuff about the top contestants on The Voice. Like, oh, she's from here, her mom did this. She knows her story. And so I got started thinking about that. You have these multi-million-dollar media conglomerates, these huge companies that are creating these television shows, right? They are doing tons of research. They're pouring money into finding out what people really want. And it clicked for me that it's the story that people want. It's the little details, the emotional stories that make you cry. That's what grabs people by the heartstrings, and that's what you can do with a blog, right? You can tell your story to the billions of people that are out there, and you're going to resonate with some of those people, and your story is going to bring a little tear to their eye, right? And they're going to get attached to your story, and they're going to resonate with you and follow you, wherever you go. At that point, you become an authority, you become a leader, and you become someone who has a story that's starting to grow with your networks. And so just think about that for a moment. Like the big companies, the people that have tons of money to throw into research and business and automation, right? They are telling stories. So you can do the exact same thing as those huge companies are. You can tell your story, and you can build the income, build a business from that, just like the big guys are. So that's really all I wanted to say. I also want to say thank you, Avram, so much for coming on today, man. This has been an awesome hangout. It's the best one that we've done so far. So cool. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Absolutely. You guys are welcome. Yeah. Whenever I get invited to do something, I always just ask like, will it be fun? Will it be easy? Will it make me money? And if I get a yes to all three of them, then I do it. Because if it's not fun, I'm not going to do it. If it's not easy, I have no room for hard anymore, right? And if I don't make money doing it, then it's kind of a bummer, right? And again, money can be hugs too, right? I'm down. There's an exchange. There's always an exchange, right? So.
Thanks so much, my friend. This was awesome. We'd love to have you on again.
Absolutely. Yeah. Get a few more guests and then bring it back around. And people are, when I get a haircut, then you can have you back on, right? my hairdresser, I can't find him anymore. He just disappeared, and I'm like, shit. Like,
don't cut that hair, Avram.
What do I do now? It's like I have a very special way that it's done. And I'm a little bit nervous to go somewhere else. I think like most people are. And it's not a problem for you, Adam, because you're just like,
I just put the hat on.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, it's a big deal. You know what I mean? So, anyway.
Well, should we wrap up by just saying, for those of you that really want to, take the steps towards applying what we've been talking about here, all you need to do is click the button below this video, and you're actually then connected to a community of thousands, hundreds of thousands of us. So that's a big part for people. When I got started and I was, diving into entrepreneurship and I felt sort of alone, community is really important. So, when you make the decision to get started, you get connected to a community that's there to support you and really help you figure out this blogging thing. We have a 21-day blogging challenge, actually, that all three of us are participating in. As Avram had mentioned before, too, that's what, building momentum is really important. When he started Inspiraction, he was doing that daily. And, really with what we have to offer here in this challenge, you get up to speed blogging, you start to build momentum, and it forms into a habit. And that's what lays the foundation for everything else. But it starts by clicking the button below this video, and then we'd love to welcome you into our community. So take that step. Thanks again for coming out. We'll see you on the next episode of Blogging for Freedom TV.
See ya.
Thanks,
Thanks
See
for
you
coming,
later.
everybody.